How to say no to Utang Addicts. We've all gone through this. Having a friend or a relative who borrows money, they even beg you for help and they promise to pay you back within the month. But when it's time to collect, kapag maniningil ka na, they will start hiding from you. Now, one of the major challenges to becoming wealthy is learning how to say no to people who love to borrow money because they don't care enough to pay you back. This topic is of utmost importance because no matter how hard you work, how disciplined you are in budgeting and investing, if you can't say no to people who borrow your money, then building wealth will be impossible. These utang addicts can just take it all away. At the same time, we know that this is also a very delicate subject because the people we often want to say no to are also very close to us. They are our friends. They could be our parents or brothers or sisters or close cousins or in-laws. And the challenge why it's so difficult to say no is because we care for them. We empathize with them, but we really don't want to help them out financially, and that's totally okay. So in this episode, you're going to learn 5 ways on how to say no to people who want to borrow your money. And to begin our episode, we want to give you a strong foundation for saying no. This comes with the realization that the way you spend your money has nothing to do with how much you love and care for other people. Let me repeat that and write this down. The way you spend your money has nothing to do with how much you love and care for other people. Done? Now, let's go with the tactical steps on how to say no. And the way this will work is that you do it in order. So if the first one doesn't work, just move on to the next and of course, only use them if you truly want to say no. Let's begin. Method number 1. Redirect to non-financial means of helping. So let's say here's the situation. The borrower says something like, "Nagkasakit si Jonel, kailangan namin ng 100,000 para maiuwi na siya galing hospital." So yes, the borrower is crying already in front of you. So he continues, "Pwede bang makahiram ng kahit 20,000 pesos lang? Babayaran ko agad-agad." How do you say no to this? First is to empathize. Let them know that you feel their pain. Then say something like, "Gusto kong tumulong pero hindi ko kayang magpahiram ng 20,000 pesos. May iba bang paraan na pwede akong makatulong na hindi pera?" So you ask, are there other ways that I can help you without money? And if you can think of other ways already, then suggest them now. And this can lead to some bargaining. The borrower can say, "Can I just borrow 10,000 pesos? O kahit 5,000 pesos lang, I'll pay you back, I promise." And if they do this, again, empathize. Say you can't give the money, but ask, is there any other way I can help? Now, if they keep pestering you for money, we now go to method number 2. Method number 2 is ask them if money is more important than your relationship. And here's how you say that. "Naiintindihan ko na kailangan mo talaga ng pera, pero parang hindi ata tama na nagiging personal na. Ang dami na kasing kwento na nasira yung relasyon dahil lang sa pera and ayokong mangyari to sa atin. So, hindi talaga ako makakatulong sa pera, sorry. Pero may iba bang paraan na makakatulong ako?" So what happens is that you hint at them that there have been many times when important relationships have been damaged because of money. That's why you can't let them borrow anymore. Then you ask again, are there other ways of helping without money? At this point, it's possible that the borrower will continue to cry and just wait for you to give in. Here is where you can use method number 3. And of course, only do this if it's applicable to you. Method number 3 is to ask them to collect from someone who already owes you. So here's what you say. "Alam mo, meron pala akong magagawa pero nahihiya na kasi ako." See the name of the person who owes you money, another person. So let's say it's Mark. You know, si Mark may utang kasi sa akin din na 10,000 pesos. And ilang beses ko na siya tinanong pero hindi siya nagbabayad. Ngayon nahihiya akong makulit kasi baka nga masira pa yung relasyon namin. So kung kaya mong makausap si Mark tas makolekta mo sa kanya yung 10,000 pesos, pwede kong ipahiram yun sa'yo. Okay ba yun sa'yo? Ito yung number ni Mark. So what happened here? Literally, in this method, there's no money out for you because you ask them to collect from someone who already owes you. Plus, you reiterated why you can't help and that the relationship is extremely important to you. Of course, Only do this when someone indeed owes you money. Now, let's go to method number 4 if they decline. Number 4 is scare them with a promissory note. And of course, only do this if you're really willing. Here's what you say. Meron naman akong kaunting mapapahiram pero marami na rin kasing humiram sa akin tas hindi nagbayad, hindi nagpakita. Kaya ngayon kapag nagpapahiram ako, laging may promissory note. Okay lang ba to sa'yo? And if they say yes, continue with. So, gagawa ako ng promissory note ha. Doon natin lalagay kung magkano yung utang mo, yung schedule ng pagbayad, at kung magkano yung kasamang interest. Now, when it comes to interest, I suggest go with 1 to 5% per month. Okay? Around that range. Nothing more than that. Now, continue with, masusulat ko din doon kung ano yung interest kung sakaling hindi ka pa makapagbayad according dun sa schedule. Alam ko parang bangko yung dating nito pero ganito na lang talaga ako magpapahiram para maiwas yung mga, alam mo yun, yung hindi nakakapagbayad. Okay lang ba yun sa'yo? If they say yes, continue with. Okay, so pipirma tayo dito pareho sa promissory note and kailangan mo rin magbigay ng co-guarantor na kung sakaling hindi ka makapagbayad, yung co-guarantor, yung pwede kong singilin sa utang mo. So, ilalagay natin yung pangalan, address, telephone number, tsaka mobile nung co-guarantor na ito. Kailangan niya rin pumirma sa promissory note natin. Okay ba ito sa'yo? And if they still say yes, then okay, sabihin mo, okay, sige, handa ko yung promissory note, balikan mo na lang bukas para ma-type ko ng maayos. Tapos, pagkabigay ko sa'yo ng promissory note, ipapirma mo na rin yung co-guarantor mo. Tapos, balik ka ulit. Tapos mapapahiram ko na sa'yo yung pera. Okay ba yun sa'yo? Now, if they say yes, then proceed with the agreement. Also, call up the co-guarantor to validate if the person is real and aware of the loan na nangyayari. Again, only do this if you're willing. Otherwise, just skip to method number 5. What is method number 5? It is to gesture for them to leave or excuse yourself to leave. Now, let's say the borrower says, pwede bang wala na lang promissory note? Matagal pa yan at magbabayad naman talaga ako. Kailangan ko nung pera. You know, they keep pestering you. Here's what you say. Sorry, pero sa sinasabi mo mukhang hindi talaga kita matutulungan. Baka makakatulong sa'yo ang ibang tao. Then, just walk to the door, hold it open, and don't say anything until they leave. Or if you're in another place, then just walk out of there and don't look back. Okay? So just open the door and they will get it na you're asking them to leave. Now, here's a very important note when using method number 5. It's okay. You can do that. You can just walk away because remember that you have already given them multiple opportunities to gracefully step back and accept your no. Remember that they have no claim over your money, even if they are your parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, or uncles. Okay? So, these are our 5 methods for saying no to utang addicts. Now, before we end this episode, we'd like to give you one more bonus tip. After you decline and say no, it is normal to feel guilty about it, especially if you have been their ATM for a long time. At this time, please remember that it is not your conscience that is making you guilty. It's simply how our brains work. When we have been accustomed to saying yes to people who ask for our help all the time, it is natural that we become uncomfortable when we say no. And to make matters worse, the person we declined could also start saying bad things about us. But just remember, these are just withdrawal symptoms. Utang addict nga eh, so may withdrawal yan. This is the same thing that happens when a long-term abusive relationship ends. Your brain will tell you on how you could have saved that relationship or how you could have been more patient, caring, or similarly, your partner could start inventing lies on what you did to the relationship, that everything is your fault, ayaw mong tumulong. Now, when you start saying no to utang addicts, your brain is going to tell you that you're bad, you're selfish, you're greedy. The person who is used to borrowing money from you may start spreading bad rumors. And when this happens, remember that this is just the withdrawal symptoms. And it's going to be temporary. We, as human beings, generally dislike any form of change. But once you get used to it, you'll wonder why you didn't think of doing it sooner. Then comes the breakthrough. After saying no a couple of times, I promise you, you're going to feel great. You're going to feel empowered and finally realize that, wow, I'm in control of my money. You'll think back, I should have started saying no earlier. As for the person who you said no to, well, You can't control their lives. You can't force them to be more responsible with their own money and obligations in the same way that they can't force you to hand over your money to them. Remember the very first lesson in this video. The way you spend your money has nothing to do with how much you love and care for other people. So, what do? Let's just pray for them, the people in need, the people who are borrowing money from us, that along the way, they realize that they have the ability to overcome poverty and debt addiction. And that's it for this episode. Let's all start saying no to debt and start saying yes to financial freedom. Hey there, J3 here. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, well, there are two things you can do right now to continue your journey towards financial freedom and abundance. First, subscribe here in our Pinoy Money Academy channel so that you'll get updates on our new episodes so that I can send you free training videos on everything and anything about money. Second, if you want faster results towards financial freedom and abundance, you can subscribe to our 5 Pillars of Wealth online video series. This is a free series of 3 eye-opening, life-changing videos where you learn about the 5 most essential concepts needed for anyone to become wealthy. And if you don't know these 5 pillars of wealth, well, you're disadvantaged in your journey. You can view this training for free online just by going to the following URL. That's pinoymoneyacademy.com/5pw. The link is displayed here on the video. Again, the link is pinoymoneyacademy.com/5pw. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, always remember that wealth is a choice, so choose to be wealthy.